We're reading The Trojan War by Olivia Coolidge. We're on part 4, chapter 6, Oenone. Oenone. Maybe I'll edit that out. That was ridiculous. Okay. Oh, a rough stretcher carried by 4 barrows passed out of the Trojan gate and struck up to Ida. The bright curls of the man who lay in it were matted with sweat, and his face was pale under its tan. He twisted and groaned now and then as the men jolted him over the rough paths, seldom frequented except by the shepherds. Still, he never asked them to stop, even when they passed through a brook, and the cool water splashed around their ankles. Their bearers were scarlet in the sun, and a myriad flies dove them almost to madness. Yet they did not halt at the stream, but toiled, panting, up grassy slopes and through hot woods, or broke into a rough trot whenever the path led them downward. So 4 men were carrying this guy on a stretcher. Okay, heading up to Ida. Okay. Once when the track went up a set of steep rocks like gigantic stairs, they paused for a moment, panting heavily. The restless head of the sufferer lifted, and the dry lips opened to whisper, "Hurry!" The men took up their burden again and began to clamber over the hot rocks toward the belt of trees above. They were getting far up on Mount Ida now, and looking down over the foothills, they might have seen the white temple of Apollo rising from the citadel of Troy. Up here there was no sound or sight of the struggle in front of the town, on the great plain running down to the sea. This was wild, peaceful country where shepherds and goatherds lived on berries and goat milk cheese. That sounds pleasant. A lot better than war. Even Achilles had not penetrated so far, for these people owed no allegiance to Priam and kept themselves apart from the war. In a pocket of the hills, a little stream had been collected by a pool by a rough dam of stones. Only a few yards below, it leapt out over the cliffs in a wide arc of spray and tumbled down the hills to Scamander, which carried it out to sea. Scamander, not Scatamander, but Scamander was yellow with the sand washed down by many such streams. But up here the pool was clear as crystal, and the trickling brook sang like a clear bell. A grove of trees shaded its banks, and across the water was a little cavern with green bushes beside it, and its entire entrance carpeted with yellow flowers. "Here," said the sufferer, "put me down, and get water." One man hastened to bring a drink cupped in his palms, while the other plunged their burning faces right into the icy pool. "Call her," said the sick man more loudly, and he lifted up his own voice to cry, "Oenone! Oenone!" repeated the foreign chorus, timidly at first, and then, as no answer came but the echoes, more loudly until the hills were ringing, "Oenone!" Suddenly she was there, outside the cave, and looking at them across the water. She wore the shining gown he remembered, and her limbs were pale brown, and her hair the rich color of chestnuts. Her lips used to smile, but they did not do so now. "Paris!" she said sharply. "What? Paris? There was a time when you were a shepherd and thought a nymph good enough for your bride. Now you are a great king's son, and nothing will do but the fairest woman in the world. Where is Helen, and why are you here?" "Oh, snap! This is first wife! Whoo-wee! Paris, do you remember him? From the from the beginning of the book, he was so good looking. He was like the most good looking one, and the goddesses came down to see which one of them was the cutest, and he picked Aphrodite because Aphrodite promised him the most beautiful woman on the earth, and so he was like, "Oh, okay, I pick you," and then he left his wife, this woman, Oenone, Oenone, woo-wee, getting juicy. All right, where am I? Oenone, said he with hoarse pleading. "Philoctetes, who carried the bow of Heracles, has come against Troy and has wounded me with an arrow as the fates decreed he should." "Yeah, but where's Helen?" she said again bitterly. "Is her golden white beauty too delicate to bear the sight of a man in pain?" "She cannot heal me," said he. The prophets tell me that no one can save my life but Oenone, who loved me once. No one has power over Heracles' poison but me. Yet why should I save you? Yeah, seriously, why should she? I would just be like, turn around, go back down the hill, bye. Have mercy, he said, struggling to lift himself. I am dying in agony, and you used to love me well. A golden green light fell through the branches over his beautiful hair and his smooth cheeks ruddy with fever. He smiled at her imploringly, looking lovely as he had been in the flower of his youth. Oenone took a step forward into the sunlight. Behold me, she demanded. Am I not as fair as Helen after all? I mean, she is gorgeous. Look at him. This man. Paris opened his lips to agree with her, but he could not. Helen, he said in dazed tones, lingering over the very sound of her name. Helen is fairer than the dazzling sun itself. He's an idiot. Then let her cure you, cried the nymph, for I will not. She put up her hands to her face and ran sobbing into the cave. Girl, don't let him see you cry. Take me up and go home, said Paris to his bearers. If I must die, I will see Helen again. The men shuffled off down the slope more slowly now. Their lord did not hurry them, and he drew in his breath less sharply when one stumbled over a stone. Presently his blue eyes closed, though he still breathed with a hoarse, straining sound. The sun was very low when they got off Ida, and when they called to the sentry at the gate, it was already dark. Men brought torches to light them through the gateway. Your master is quiet now, said one. Did Oenone put some herb on the wound to draw out the poison? For he seems as though he is asleep. He's dead, cried one of the bearers sharply. He must have died out there in the dark. The men went in with their litter, and the guards turned back to the gate. So he is dead, said the one who had spoken earlier. This will be the end of the long war. Not so, answered the other, for we still have Helen. Ah, Helen, said his fellow with awe. Who would not die for such a woman as she? Not Paris. He went back to Oenone for healing, and it seems she cast him out. Would he had never been born. Someone knocked on the gate from without. Let me in, said a voice. I am the nymph Oenone, and I bring herbs for the healing of Paris. She changed her mind. Oh my gosh. Paris wants no herbs, said the guard roughly, and without the watchword I cannot open the gate. But I'll save his life, implored she. Go in and tell King Priam that I am here to save his son, whom I have loved for so long. Paris is dead, shouted he, and it is but a few minutes since the bearers brought his body through the gate. There was silence for a moment, and then a sobbing. The guard, peering over the wall, could see nothing, though the moon had arisen and the space by the gateway was clear. Go home, woodland spirit, cried he in panic, and threw down his javelin in the direction of the sound. The noise stopped abruptly, and silence fell over Troy. Far up on Ida, a wolf howled by the deserted cave. He killed her with his javelin. Whoa. That's the end of the chapter. Oh, that was so good. Oh, man, that was juicy. Okay.